This call may be monitored or recorded.
Post Oak, West Loop.
Thank you for calling Brand Extract.
Yes, could I speak to someone with just a few general questions about your services, your branding services?
They are actually both out of the office today. I can send you to their voicemail.
Uh, the two guy, I mean the two people are they on the website? Or are they uh, the two people I mean be speaking to would be what? I mean
Jonathan or Bo.
Jonathan or Bo? I see Bo on the people, and where's Jonathan? Oh, there he is,
Jonathan Fisher.
chairman. Oh, he's the chairman, right? And Bo is the
Yes.
president and CEO. Okay. There's not anybody
Right.
else that's a brand person in the company?
There's brand managers, but if you want specific questions answered towards
Well,
what we do, what we
they're
can do
just
for
kind of some
you.
general questions. I mean, could I just speak to a brand manager?
Okay, can I get your name?
Mark Blankenship.
And who are you calling with?
I'm with W5 Services.
Okay, give me 1 second. Hello, this is Elizabeth.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
I'm Mark Blankenship. I'm wanting to ask just a couple of general questions about the branding. I'm developing two products that are actually going to be, just they're all about the branding. One's a promise engine and one's a brand jukebox, okay? And so
Okay.
the brand jukebox is going to be albums, but they're going to be videos. And so I just want you as a brand manager, you basically are like a project manager, but the project's all about branding. Is that correct, or did I assess that wrong?
So you mean me personally or Brand
Right, you
Extract?
are a brand
Um,
manager, right, and within the company.
yeah, I'm a brand strategist, and we do all the
Oh,
communication
you're that's even
strategy,
better. I
marketing
mean,
strategy.
the strategist pre is
Right.
a prelude to a manager, right?
Right.
And
We
okay, so
basically have a full service team. So we have people that do consulting and strategy. We have
is your picture
a whole
in the?
creative
I'm looking at all the
department.
pictures. Are you on the website? Is your picture on the website?
I am. My name's Elizabeth Tyndall.
And you must be down at the bottom. Where is the list? Ah,
Did they
I
take me off?
see
That's not good news.
you.
I'm kidding.
Basically, do you have a couple minutes?
Sure.
Okay, this brand jukebox is going to be a wonderful thing, and the impetus for it was uh, some a gal who's actually working in a flooring company. She's taking ups. So when people walk in, she switches. And so she needs to go out and mix and mingle either before she goes to work or after she goes to work. And so she'll go out and she'll make some introductions. Okay, but then it's
Mhm.
very cumbersome for her to basically convey her brand to people over time. And so the reason for the brand jukebox is to accelerate the trust. Okay, and so
Mhm.
basically if I have and my the premise for the brand jukebox is the fact that I need to convey that you are qualified, you are organized, and you are committed to excellence. Okay, that is that's the album, the brand album that's going to be in the jukebox with all the different songs being the videos. You're trying to convey. It's all as you well know, it's all the promises, and so I'm trying to see how. And also, what I want to do is, if someone needs brand work, I need to have a company that I can just say, you need to call Elizabeth, and she'll come in there and strategize with you. So I'm asking a couple
Mhm.
questions to validate my approach and to see that if they need work, if they need to get their house in order, then you'd be an ideal company to come in there and get things rearranged and spit shined
Mhm.
and so, right? That's what you're all
Mhm.
about. But one of
Right.
the you know they got all these different things about positioning, and and it gets to be kind of like it's pretty elaborate. But isn't the essence of your brand it's kind of like it's the reputation, okay? It's a reputation that you're going to do good things, you're going to care, and you're going to and you have a good attitude, you're qualified, you're committed, and all those good things. It's the essence of your brand, right?
Well, and it's what makes you different and how you uniquely deliver your whatever you're offering.
Well, but isn't sometimes the if I'm doing a remodeler, they all do the same things. So the differentiation is not in the appliances you bring in and integrate it. It's your processes and your commitment to follow up and follow through and all those things. So sometimes it's a unique value proposition, and sometimes it's all about how that you are going to be organized and be responsive and attentive and available. Those kind of things.
Right. Which
Those
is
kind
how
of
you deliver
right.
and how you show up. Right. Your brand is kind of the collection of everything and
Okay.
how you go to market,
My question is, if
which
I'm
is the
interviewing
products or
somebody,
services.
I'm
I'm
sorry, I
sorry?
didn't mean to step over you.
No, go
It,
ahead. It's
it,
okay.
the essence of a brand. Okay. Here's my meta. Are you good at metaphors?
Mhm.
Okay. When you
Yeah.
buy a new car, okay, you want to take it out for a spin, okay? And different people get in the same car and they have different hot buttons or concerns or points of interest. Okay, some will look for the lumbar,
Mhm.
some want to know if it has a navigation, some want to know the stereo. And see, I think this is the perfect metaphor for a business because different people have different concerns or focus points or whatever. So what I'm trying to do with the
Mhm.
brand jukebox is I'm letting a company let you take a company out for a spin. That is my goal of the brand jukebox. And so if I followed you conceptually, you came in and you just spit shined and got everything all organized, is part of what I want to do with the brand jukebox is I want to have in-depth interviews, okay, and drop slice them up into little tiny slices, different aspects of the car. And so if someone, a potential buyer can listen to that particular aspect, listen to see how what kind of processes they have, how they do they have a project diary or whatever it is. And so that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to it's almost like follow you, okay? You come in and you get them all, shoo, you get them all tip top shape, which means that the messaging is unified. The processes. Do you sometimes recommend that they implement processes because most people fail on processes?
Mhm.
So
We dip a little bit into management consulting. We might not provide that service, but we point out where it doesn't support the brand experience and
yeah,
how it's not.
I mean, if you being able to have like a project diary, where a customer calls up and asks a question and you answer it, and then or during the beginning, where you're trying to you're trying to figure out what you're going to deliver, you've got what
Mhm.
if and what about, and those things that need to be captured and put into the proposal or at least some kind of diary. So when you reflect back to it, I thought you told me so and so. No, no, we discussed that, and you could pull it out. That's a process,
Mhm.
okay, which most companies
Right.
do not have.
Mhm.
They've
Right.
got good people, nice office, qualified people, and they got good workmanship, but sometimes they just fail on any kind of a like a project diary. Do you that's just my name for it, but I mean, if I've had a discussion with somebody,
Sometimes.
go
Mhm.
ahead.
Some call it a sales playbook, or sometimes it's just kind of your right all your processes and sales and um, messaging that can be put together and accessed. Some people use Salesforce. Some people develop sales playbooks, or
Yeah, in other words,
as you call it, a
it's
project
kind of
diary.
the history of the gig. In other words, if you it all all the different contacts and interactions, are recorded. In like a CRM. I
Uh
got
huh.
you. I
Right.
got you. So
Yeah.
so if you go in there and you help some companies get their act together, this is how you should talk about yourself. This is how you should deliver, and this is how you should follow up.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if I come along and
Right.
I interview that company after you've done I'm just using this as my example. I come along and I have an in-depth interview and I highlight all these key things that, commitments,
Mhm.
their promises. Their promises that we will do such and such and such and such and I promise that we will be available. So if you need to call me, you can call my cell or you can I will answer your email even as to what they're all promises. So if I
Mhm.
if I follow you
Right.
and I capture that and then I put it into an album and then somebody can kind of take the company out for a spin, um, it's like even though it's going to be singing the me's, it's really not a touting type of thing. It's a commitment type of thing, right?
Mhm.
Are you? I mean, no one's done this, so but I've been on planet Earth a long time, and I would give I wish I had been able to play some albums before I engage people, because
Mhm.
if I can see the processes and I can see exactly how their commitments to excellence, then I'm going to be
Mhm.
impressed, and I'm going to say, okay, let's rock.
Right.
So do
So
you
what platform is this brand jukebox? Is it, I mean, is it truly like a
it's it's
online
going to be like a
platform
little
to access all this information?
it's going to be like a little app, so in other words, it's like a little app, and
Mhm.
all the videos of the client are going to be in their YouTube channel, but if I but all the little tiny songs, okay, will be conveniently. So if I bring up an album and it talks about qualified or organized, I might bring up an organized album and it may have 6 or 8 songs, and then I'll be able to
Mhm.
see exactly what I'm saying songs, videos. I'll be able to see exactly
Right.
what that little tiny video is about. I can play the whole thing. It might last 5 minutes, or I can play a particular song, particular portion of that interview, which is talking on a particular point. So if I'm interested in the project diary or availability or whatever it is, I can just click and listen to that. Okay, that
Mhm.
part of the interview, which
Mhm.
would be how that is because right now, if you've got video, it comes up and you have no idea what the pieces are until you play it.
Mhm.
And if you want to go back and listen to a certain piece, try doing that with any degree of accuracy.
Mhm.
It's like trying to go back to a pre-recorded video of some, it's like I see it as like a really great thing so that people can take a company out for a spin. And now, can you conceptually, are you getting that, with my strategy?
Yeah, you're putting together almost a so-called credentials or kind of
It's
visibility
promises.
into companies
It's
and promises
credentials
to
and
see.
it's commitments
Mhm.
and
And
because
you're putting it together in in small video snippets, and you're collecting them all in a app that's called a brand jukebox, so
Right, and
somebody
so
could
you
go
can
in and
have
evaluate
and one
different
album
companies.
might be just tour the facilities, which is part of the
Mhm.
brand, but it's not as impactful as
Right.
as some of your core commitments, right?
Mhm. No, I'm following you.
So it's like, do you think just general comments are? I mean, to me, the reason I'm enamored with it is because it was born out of necessity because this gal had no way to convey her brand and to accelerate the trust so that she could develop some strategic relationships with different people. And so I'm going to take this to different ecosystems, where different people, are calling on the same people, and then you can they can learn, they can develop a sense of trust in them, okay, and then they can refer business back and forth. But the best way you can convert it
Mhm.
is you got to show that you are committed. And then I'm going to actually have some albums where I go out and do a customer story, and you get to see how the brand is the promises, and the a customer a story is the results of those promises, right? So I'm going to get it on both ends.
Mhm.
Now that's kind of nice, huh?
Right. Mhm.
And so I'm going to do this, and then I don't want to do the branding at all. I mean, I know enough. I know a lot about the branding, but I don't maybe have it compartmentalized like you do. You know, like positioning or this or that. I just know that
Mhm.
if you do quality work and you're committed to excellence, that what's going to happen is you're going to grow your business because people are going to go tell others about you. And when people tell others about you, that is the essence of your brand. Matter of fact, whatever they tell others about you is your brand. Correct?
Mhm. Right.
Um,
What kind of companies are you going after or targeting with this
well,
product?
I, I'm really looking for some real sweet spots. Uh, yeah, one is I'm going to be I'm really open to some targets. I was thinking about that. If like if I'm a professional servant, if I'm a realtor, or if I'm an independent, if I'm a commission salesperson, that they would like to have their brand, because that would really accelerate them. That they could have some go-to partners. Like a financial planner has a relationship with a mortgage banker and a realtor, and they all feed each other work because they all have good brands. And so I'm going to ecosystems. When you asked that question, did you have was there any sense about some ecosystems where you thought it might work, or you were just asking to see what ecosystems I was talking
N-
about?
I was asking to see who you felt was the best target for this product.
Anybody who networks is the best. When you network, when you go out and mix and mingle, the first thing you do is you shake hands, and you exchange cards, which is a sin, because it's cards is going to go back and get inserted in the rubber band, okay?
Mhm.
But if they really are, you know, if you view that they can really possibly be a strategic alliance, then you would push the jukebox to them and say, "Hey, I enjoy meeting you. I just want to convey to you the essence about it, what I'm all about, and what to expect if you refer business to me. And so here's my jukebox. Just peek and poke around." And
Mhm.
so that is the general category about where I'm going. Okay,
Mhm.
and
So how do
and
you distribute the jukebox? Do you have like,
you just
so
push.
the other person would have to get the app, or would they have a link, or how
I'm gonna.
exactly?
I mean, you would just. It would be a link in your email signature, or right. Enjoyed our meeting. Here's here's the essence about my commitments to our clients, and we would click and go right into the jukebox and play whatever songs they wanted to.
Mhm.
So it's a push
And
thing.
when you say songs, you're really meaning video snippets and
Right,
interviews?
right. And a song can also be a PDF. So I can have an album, okay, and I can maybe the first song might be a PDF that explains, gives you like a nice little thing about, what all the different songs are, all the different videos are on the album. And
Mhm.
then so it's
It's
so
really like a microsite. It's a sales or a little online dossier, if you will,
yeah,
with all the different
it's an interview. It's
sales
not
and
just a
promises.
written word. It's a spoken word.
Right. Right. It's a mixture of video or PDF or other whatever supports the promises
But the essence of it is
and the experience.
it 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 it's the spoken word. It's coming from the person. They are going on record. When you do a video interview and when you're in the jukebox, you are on record to saying this is what to expect if you engage us or me.
Mhm.
It's an us slash me thing. And
Mhm.
so, and what I want to do is that I'd like to have a go-to person. So when I promote these, if somebody has their caca together, then they don't need you. If they don't, then they need you, and you might be a prelude
Mhm.
to me. Okay,
Right.
I didn't mean that. My little French
Okay,
there.
so you're looking for strategic partners.
Yeah, I was looking for right. I was looking for
Right.
a strategic partner, and I was also looking for just to get a candid opinion uh, about kind of some validation to my concept. I have dealt with all kinds of. I've done small, medium, large, and huge. I've been on SAP integrations. I've been to Bubba's Bait Shop. So I have lived through every aspect of all brands. Okay,
Mhm.
and some people really have their stuff together, and most people don't.
Right.
You know, and even the big boys. Ernst and Young or all these guys, they'll have all these good PDFs and messaging, and it's just. But then if you get engaged, they drop the ball some on process. The big killer in brands. Okay, now this is my guess. Okay, because the biggest killer in brand is process.
Mhm.
It's not in quality of people. It's not in workmanship because when you get somebody good out there, they're going to do it. But that person, do you kind of do you agree with me that is one of the biggest killers of brand is process?
I think it's not living up to the experience or the not delivering on the brand experience, which could be process, it could be operations, it could be any number of
By
things
by by process, I meant operations.
prohibit you from right that prohibit you from delivering on the promises you're making.
Yeah, in other words, it's not, if you're gonna do a sprinkler system, I, you know, a sprinkler guy is just the ultimate brand. I mean, he's so
Mhm.
ultimate that when he came out to quote my mother's job when she was alive, and did such a good job. I referred him business before he ever did the first job for me. Okay, that's how good a
Mhm.
brand he had. Okay,
Mhm.
everybody drops the ball. In other words, he's bringing out the quality product. Okay, he's got people who work for him that know their stuff. But the process is that he if anything goes awry, you know, and he's got to come back, that he keeps me informed about when that'll be, and he comes when he said he would come. That's what I talk about process.
Mhm.
It's all those little things
Mhm.
about. Oh, I said I would send you an email and send you those brochures to see if you wanted to go to a wireless thermostat. Well, that it's
Mhm.
all of those. It's all those promises where they say sure, no problem. As soon as somebody says sure, no problem, and they don't have a process to back that up, they're stepping on their brand.
Right.
Anyway, so are you guys? Uh, I'm looking at your site and all the people and everything, and I'm just smelling like ooh, kind of costly to do business with you guys, right? I mean, only the big guys can afford you, or Do you have?
We deal in bigger companies, yes. Well, small to large enterprise customers, primarily business to business.
Business to business. Yeah, okay. But
Yeah,
the br-
we don't do much consumer.
okay. Well, B to C. You don't help contractors out with branding.
No, not really. We
So
have other partners that we can refer them to for like small um, independent businesses. We don't do very many of them just because we do have a little more extensive process um, and the price is usually more than they need
so you do
or is
business to
willing
B. You
to
do
pay.
B to B. You don't do anything
Mhm.
to do with you don't like do like an Amazon. You don't do e-commerce, and you don't do where you're going out to the home and doing roof painting or whatever. So you do B to B primarily.
We primarily do B2B. We do professional services, financial service, any kind of professional service, engineering and construction, but more, from the large scale providers, um, healthcare, oil and gas, um, manufacturing, things like some software, things like that.
Okay, so the if a business does document management or managing IT services, are those kind of companies a good candidate for
Yeah,
you?
we've worked with IT services before.
Okay, all right. So where
Um,
So the branding is actually a container that everything goes in. It goes into how well that you talk about yourself, and then there's a story that you may want to leverage. The story is the story, and so you can't alter that. You can't screw up your story because your story is your story, but you can leverage your story. Okay, and is that actually branding, or is that just good marketing when you leverage the story?
Probably good marketing. The branding is the story. Is the story. It's where you position yourself in the marketplace, and it's your mission, vision, and values. It's everything that goes into conveying who you are, um,
And what to expect.
and what to expect, and how you deliver on those promises. The marketing is how to leverage that branding, get it out to the marketplace.
So conceptually, if everybody had the brands just tip top shape, and you went out and you did a Google search, I need blah de blah. Okay, they pop up. Okay,
Hmm.
and
That would be
then I
marketing.
go to the website. Now, what is your strategy? This is key for me engaging you. Okay, because I do have some companies that I might be able to do that are more B two B. When you hit the website, do you do you know almost everybody on the planet is just stepping all over their brand when they bring up the website. I mean, they are just absolutely just getting a gun out and putting it to their head. Do you concur?
It depends. We build websites, and oftentimes the companies we consult with, the websites are built based on their corporate strategy and their brand and what their users are looking to do, what their user profiles are of the audiences they're trying to go after.
Okay. Do you have
So
some?
they're built very purposefully in mind.
So do you have some? Because everywhere I go and I surf, I bring up thousands of websites. I mean, a month. I'm because I'm going hither and yon. Okay. And every time I go hither and
Hmm.
yon, I just do you have some in your portfolio websites that you've done that where there's just wonderful brand alignment?
Yeah, I would hope most of them are. Um,
I mean, do you have
but it
some
depends on how you
on your website?
describe.
Is there some reference sites that you've built that are they just are they on your site that I can go look at some under the work where it would show some of the sites?
Looking to tell you where to go. Hold on. Um,
Yeah, Marathon Oil. That's a huge one, obviously. All these under the work where when I had work and I got all these things, ABS Group. Those are all websites that you've done that you have.
mhm. Yes, we built ABS groups. We've built marathons. Um, we've built Anadarko's. We've built Transocean.
So is there kind of what's the rough pricing formula or something? Yeah, I know you can't get out of bed unless it's 10 grand or 20 grand or 50. I mean, how much does it cost just to get out of bed and start the work? You have to. Is it like a
From a website?
no from a project? I find a B2B company and they come to you and it's going to be it's going to be 50 grand to 300 grand or is there like a range about what it's going to take?
Yeah, roughly. We typically don't do one-off projects necessarily unless they're an existing client. Um, we we tend to have a process. Sometimes we just do marketing support for clients on an ongoing annual basis for marketing support. Sometimes when they do come to us for branding, we have a process we go through in terms of a brand assessment where we do extensive research to develop the brand position and then all of the ways to express the brand and all the materials needed to convey the brand. Um, and so oftentimes those engagements, um, some of our smaller engagements probably could be as low as 50 to 100. Typically they're 100, on up to 300 to half a
I
million.
got you. But
It ranges. It's probably as low as I'd say more like probably all in 80 to 100 is probably when we first engage,
I see blurred
depending on what's
lines
needed. We're
between
very custom,
you very what?
and we work. We're we don't we don't have just kind of off-the-shelf solutions. It's very custom, so it really depends on what the client need is and where they are in the market and what their goals and objectives are
Well, do you
as
bring any
to what our
technology to the
solutions
table?
might entail.
Do you bring any technology
Yes,
to the
we have a
table?
whole yeah, we build websites. We have our own content management system. We can build other technologies. We do a lot of, kind of technology through the marketing lens. We
Okay,
can
right,
build
okay.
apps. Um,
The
we have in-house developers. We have about 4 developers on site
I've got a Promise
that do
Engine product
technology and program.
that some of the companies you deal with would could really use to enhance their brand. And
What did you say it was? A what?
it's called the Promise
A,
Engine.
mm,
So every time that a sales guy or anybody in the company says, "Sure, no problem," that gets put on a
mhm.
promise page and delivered to the customer, and then the customer can see you working through the promises.
Hmm.
I'll give you the example of the huge play. And you know how many times you've been talking to AT&T or or whatever it is, your cable provider, and this is the famous line, Mark. As soon as I hang up the phone, I'm gonna ba ba ba. Okay.
Mm.
Now, during the conversation, I said, can you call me back, or do you have a direct number I can call you back? No. Can you call me back? I don't even know if I can call. No. Can I email you? No. So
Mhm.
so I'm at the mercy of her or him writing down the ba ba ba's and taking action on them. With the Promise Engine, when she's on the phone with me, now I know some of your clients would absolutely, this would just be a dream thing for them. When they're on the phone with me, she'll write the three babas down and she'll send me an email. And before I hang up, I can click the link and I can see the three babas on my promise page that she created. And as soon as I hang up, then she can update, she or he. You can work the
Mhm.
promises and I can see them on my private portal page.
Mhm.
Now, you talk about the ultimate experience for a client to tout a business. There is nothing that I know of on this planet better than to absolutely see promises being worked right in front of
Mhm.
you. You call in. Sure, no problem, Elizabeth. Let and and then all of a sudden they write it down, and out goes an email, and you can see that the promise that they made to you is actually captured and being worked. So that's one of the. I mean, that's not the primary reason I called. I was calling about my jukebox. But they kind of go
Right.
hand in glove.
Yeah.
If you use the brand jukebox to take the company out for a spin, there's promises in there that they've got the promise engine, and then when you engage them, then you get to see the promise engine being utilized.
Mhm.
So
Great. Well, do you have information on these products?
I got a little thing information on the promise engine. What is your email address?
Okay. Elizabeth at brandextract.com.
Okay, all right. I will send you. I appreciate your time, and
Mhm.
I mean, uh, I'm an older gentleman, so it's kind of like the reason I know the brand jukebox can just help all kinds of people. It can accelerate
Mhm.
trust, and when you accelerate trust, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Okay,
Right.
everybody wins. And with the
No, it
promise
sounds
engine,
interesting.
if you keep your promises, all the discussions you've had. How long have you worked for this company?
A little over 7 years.
Okay. But when you're having those table discussions where you're sitting around the table sipping coffee, yeah, 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 cussing and discussing, it's kind of like, you know, the essence about a company is the people, process, and technology. There's nothing else, okay? And
Mhm.
and but where everything fails is it fails on the process. They've got quality products. They can receive shipping and receiving work like a champ because they've got barcodes and da 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 da. But when you take it out and you install it, and you walk it into the glass and steel building, and you didn't do a good install, or you didn't do a good imparting of the knowledge, so they don't even know that the red button does this or that. It's all about that process, or you didn't do a good knowledge transfer or good training. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
kind of like you could have the
Mhm.
best product. You could have, I mean, like if you bring an MRI machine into a medical facility, I mean, it's top notch. But if you don't
Mhm.
convey how to use it and what to check out for and look for, and if you got this problem, do this and that, you're just stepping all over the brand. You with me? It's process. That
Yep.
that's my. It's like, and isn't that where you have the most impact of when you do work for clients?
Again, it's all the things that enable you to deliver on your promises and on the total brand. So sometimes it's technology, sometimes it's process, sometimes it's training, sometimes it's sales. It could be any number of things.
Well, okay, okay, all right. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time, and I'll send you a
Sure.
I'll send you a little thing on the Promise Engine because I would be tickled pink. I don't. How did that saying ever come about? Tickled pink.
Good question.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm tickled pink.
Mhm.
You know, or that other little
Maybe
saying a
tickled
good
until
friend of
you
mine
laugh
used.
so hard your face turns red.
That little saying I just want
Hmm.
my late friend. He's up in heaven. He used to say, no matter how many times I cut this board, it's still too short.
Hmm.
anyway, anyway, well, you are. You are. It was a delight to talk to you. And speaking of branding, okay,
Mhm.
you are a good representative of your company's brand,
Well, thank you.
and
I
you have
appreciate
to be
that.
around the block. Have to lived a couple of days to even know to be able to make that comment. But you know where I'm coming from.
Well, thank you. I
You don't get
appreciate it.
somebody straight out of Harvard that could ever make that utterance.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'll be
yeah,
on the lookout for your email,
yeah.
and
In other
it
words,
was a
one of those
pleasure
things
talking with
where,
you.
say again, you'll be on
Oh,
the
no,
lookout.
go ahead.
You'll be on the lookout email, and I talked
Oh,
under.
and I said it was a pleasure talking with you.
Well, it's a pleasure talking with you, and yeah, give the little promise engine. Now I can spiff up. This is the first. This is 1.0. Of it, so I could.
Mhm.
But the promise engine is mainly internal. It's just the promise page that the customer sees. So
Mhm.
when I give you the little
Right.
short story, you will see it's like the promise page is. You'll see it's got a nice little banner, and it says promises for Elizabeth. And so if I was a normal company, okay, and I made two or three promises to you during this conversation, I would put them in, I'd email it to you, and you'd see them, and then if I was working them, and maybe I might put a little note. It says, well, you got on the wireless thermostat, you can either do Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and maybe I might put a comment there. And so I would update that. You would see that, and you go, okay, interesting. And then when it's done, I do a green check mark.
Mhm.
But just that whole
Got it.
thing, that whole dynamic of letting the customer live through your promise delivery thing, it's pretty nice stuff.
Mm. No, it's nice transparency.
So I'd be anxious to get your feedback, and maybe yeah, I called about the brand jukebox, and I'm exiting with the promise engine, but they work hand in glove. They work hand
Mhm.
in glove. I take the
Okay.
company out for a spin, and I make a presumption that I'm going to be very happy, and then I engage you, and the promise engine says, yeah, I made the right decision.
Mhm.
And those two things, I want them to be woven into the brand thing. That's kind of like my goal is like,
Mhm.
this company, brand extract, they've got this promise engine in it. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
Or I could take them out for a spin. Anyway, I won't take any
Right.
more of your time.
Right.
Appreciate it, and I'll get you that information, and maybe we could chat further.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. You have a great
Okay.
day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.